a 1, and a bing, 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 bing. Google has taken us live. It is the Beck Scrum. It is Thursday. It is Sam and Nicola and Ben. I think Ben was first in. Should we start with Ben? How are things going with you?
Was that things are going pretty well. Did the mob today? Well, you were there. You know
The deep learning mob. Yep.
Deep learning there. That was good. I think we had some fruitful conversations. Moving forward, Ethereum mob, I guess, didn't happen today.
Or I think. Yeah. On that note, I just had a pairing session with Will, which we just finished. I guess running over a little bit. So conceivably, he might start it up now. But I mean, he may or may not have seen your post in Premium Extra saying that the time change works for you. So
okay. Well, I'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, we'll say. Go on.
One other thing related to pairing, I think I got a couple communications last week about pairing with Aaron. Maybe even earlier this week. I did respond to him, but I haven't heard back, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm certainly amenable to it.
Yeah, and I think he's keen to do it. I think he's ill it's an interesting thing there. I think he's also working. He's working full time, or at least 3/4 time, or something. So yeah, it's the kind of thing. I mean, I think it also may. It'll probably happen, but it may not happen fast. So if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So there we go.
That's fine.
Good. So nothing blocking you then, Ben?
I don't think there is anything blocking me, except that I did submit that PR for the website one thing. I don't know if has been.
Where are we on? Was there one thing outstanding? Gone?
Yeah, I think not much has been done perhaps since yesterday on that. I haven't done anything, but I think the idea was just. I think the one thing I wanted to do was move LawLex to the
another vendor directory. Yeah, we discussed that in the website.
Right, we'll do that. We'll do that, and then I'll throw it back up. This is sort of rehash from yesterday. All right.
Oh yeah, and definitely, like, you know, if there are, I do try and like follow everything. If there's ever anything that's like done, and you're like, oh yeah, Sam should look at this now. Do ping me in Slack or add like, you know, a review request.
Review? That's not rude.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay,
No. I mean, if you're like a you know, not a premium member, and you're kind of like, hey, why haven't you reviewed my PR? I'm kind of like, that's not very nice. But if you're a premium member, like, that's part of your benefit, is that you are guaranteed to get your reviews within a certain time frame. And
right on.
You know, like that. I turned off the GitHub email notifications like a year ago because it just overwhelmed me. And I try to keep on top, but like, you know, like. Anyway, certainly.
Yeah, I've tried to figure out some kind of filtering scheme with the email to get the stuff that I want to see, but not look at the endless stream of. Still working on that.
Yeah, I would say I've switched to what Raul recommended, was just basically using GitHub notifications. So what I try to do is once a day I will check in, clicking on notifications, and just look through my notifications. But sometimes the churn, I mean, there's other things like I may have accidentally ignored certain projects or what have you. It's always, as a premium member, you are always entitled to reach out to me and say, you know, I mean, if it's like I've said yes, I'll get to it, and then you're like reminding me every half an hour, then kind of it gets obviously a bit. But you know,
I'm not going to be that guy. I
know you're not. You're far too polite.
Right. Well, at least or too timid or something. But I am sort of anxious to pick up the pace. I see people sort of working on structural stuff, and I'm sort of like, I want to get my teeth more into that stuff.
No, totally, yeah, and that's a good intention. And yeah, as you were saying, it's like sometimes that means putting down the academic things as refactoring things to come back to in order to you know jump on. But good stuff. Yeah, no, I'll look forward to looking at the next version of that. Let's go on to Nicola. Nicola, how are things going with you?
Yeah, I've been working on local support for doing the newsletter thing. And I'm to mock all the methods that we are going to have inside of the service. So now I think that the one that is working is the one that gets all the email from the organizations, and the others are just commented out. So cool. We know what to do with each one of them.
Wonderful. Were you working on this with Stella or just by yourself?
I did it by myself, but I notified Stella, and I told her to take a look and to give me feedback and to
absolutely fantastic.
Just pull all the changes, and
great, fantastic, good stuff. Yeah, wonderful progress. Yeah, I'm liking the look of it. Anything else on your mind?
One of the things is some organizations doesn't need to have an email, right? I mean, when they register, or because some of the emails that I was filtering, they are empty. So
we had, I think, an email is required if they sign up through the site, but the way we initially started the system was importing a lot of data from a government database, and that had been explicitly stripped of emails. So the initial set of 700 charities that we put in there did not have any emails. We then went through a process of collecting emails and inserting them and this, that, and the other. And we've got a whole new pipeline that Brent set up that will actually be able to pull the emails straight in there. But what it means is, for legacy purposes, there may be organizations that don't have emails. And obviously, we would then not email them.
I was just filtering those organizations out. So
Yep, totally.
Nice.
Good one. Yeah. Anything else on your mind? Anything blocking you?
No. Everything okay. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So then my updates. Yeah. Deep Learning Mob was good. Great to have Paula there. It's a nice conversation. Managed to get the softmax loss working over the lunch break, and then dived into. I thought that Will and I were going to work on why, but we were actually we ended up having a high level conceptual discussion about why and what's that for, and the kind of socio economic changes that Will's hoping to achieve through for the universe, the world at least. So that was interesting. And then we've got the local support meeting coming up. Yeah, that's about the size of it. I guess the key thing I don't really blocked. I have to do is I must sort out the stuff for the new second part of the edX course, which is going live next week. That's on my special "you must do" list on the top of my computer there. But yeah, I think that's our Scrum. Unless anybody else has any other things, I guess we've created a moment where we could just talk about tech tests. Is that appealing?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I say that because I think it's great that many companies these days, they encourage you when, as part of the interview process, when they do a tech test, is that everybody puts their tech tests onto GitHub, and then you kind of share and discuss them. Obviously, tech tests designed to be worked on alone, because you're trying to show the company in question or the employer in question
your skills.
Your skills, absolutely. So that's all good. I've previously actually blogged feedback that I got on tech tests, as well as sharing the thing. So did I send you the link to my blogs, Nicola, on some of the feedback I got on tech tests and interviews?
No.
I think I shared the tech test.
What I remember is the tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, there's I shared the tic-tac-toe
and the repository.
Yeah, I think I shared the repos. I think I've also got blog posts about the feedback on them that maybe I'll share. But so yeah, you got some feedback on.
I would like to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, you got some feedback on your dollar to euro repo.
Yeah.
Which and yeah, so they were saying
some of the things that they were. Yeah, some of the things that they were saying, they were for me a little off, because they did the review after a couple. For me, they did it a little several days after I told them to do the review, because I was gonna do some changes on there. So the thing is that I changed the repository from being only a command tool program to be a sham. And they tried to install it, and that was not the way I was thinking they were gonna test it. I just was thinking, okay, they are going to fork the repository, and they are going to try it locally, so they will be able to see how to get it up. And one of the complaints were that I wasn't saying that they needed to run Sidekick with Mongo. And the thing that was weird for me, because I didn't tell them, but it was in the README. So I think that they never read the README. That is why I think that it's a little off.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think that's it's interesting. I guess so in and we can't kind of legislate for that when we can put together READMEs, and people will or will not follow the instructions in them. I was just installing the Met Plus stuff, and I had all these failing tests and whatever, and I finally got like the application.yaml that I needed from the maintainer, and I was about to say, hey, you didn't have instructions to do this, and then I went back and looked at the README, and I was like, oh, they did, and I just missed them. So it's kind of it's difficult to legislate for that. I guess the question that you might pose to yourself is, given that they the reviewer may fail to read the README, or that they may do it a few days later, what do you think that you could have done differently to help mitigate the problems that were introduced by
I should have told them all the changes that I've been doing. For example, if I push something to the master repository and that is going to maybe affect the evaluation, I should have tell them.
And I guess that would be, you could have making me think that you could have created like the gem thing, you could have forked it and been doing it from a different repo, maybe, couldn't you? Or on a different you could have created
or maybe maybe I could have created another repo, just
right. $$euro_gem, and then you would have done there wouldn't have had any impact on them. The other thing to do, actually, go on. I was just thinking.
I was just.
I was going to say the other thing that occurs to me is that you could have got some of the AV community to we talked about it before. I didn't think to suggest this, but we could have got a few people to download and install it and give you feedback on it. I don't know if that would counter just at least in terms of like the README and things that might be easily missed or might need to be highlighted in bold or what have you. Conceive. I would have thought that companies want people to make the tech tests their own, but presumably testing the readability of the README is that's a kind of as an employer for myself. I would much rather employ somebody who had, rather than just pushing something out and only having tested themselves. If they'd asked 2 or 3 of their friends to test it and give feedback, I would say that showed great initiative, and that's the kind of person I'd like to have working on my team. I don't know if you know what I mean, but
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. And thanks so much for sharing that in the tech test, and I've linked that to the professional development.
You're welcome.
Because I think it's the kind of thing. Often these tech tests are all done in secret, and everybody's hiding in shame of their little thing. But I think sharing these things helps us all get better at it.
I think that we have to learn from the things that we are doing wrong. There is no other way. So
that's how we learn. Sorry, Ben, what were you saying?
An assignment here from a specific assignment from a prospective employee, this particular thing,
yes,
write a Ruby application that converts dollars to euros.
Yes, exactly.
And there was a bunch of specs and stuff.
Yep, I think that it was just if you're you're probably not in the tech tests channel. I can probably invite you there, Ben, if you're interested in seeing.
I uploaded the challenge there.
But so
PDF.
Nicholas shared the challenge specification, his solution, and the feedback there. So potentially one could get like a complete, the full experience.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Without filters.
Good stuff. All right, lovely. So, Brain, come on, Brain on. Yes, it's time for the local support meeting. Great to see you both. I'll maybe see some of you there. If not, ta-ta for now.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.